Many paladins devote themselves to destroying evil, protecting the innocent, and being an example of goodness. But for some, it isn't enough to destroy evil. They need to redeem the evildoer. They gain victory by showing the fallen the path of righteousness and gaining converts to the cause of goodness. Some such paladins are seeking their own redemption as well, hoping that in saving others they can atone for their own failures and transgressions. This is the story of one such warrior. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another helpful episode of
The Dungeon Crashers.
I'm Guy.
And I'm Zapil. It has been a while since we posted our last video, and first off, I would like to thank all of you that sent your support to myself and my family. For an update, my father did pass away on July 8th from a cardiac arrest and a stroke that he had. It has been a very trying time for me and my family, and thankfully Guy has been very patient with all of this. I mean, he is just like another son to my parents, and said to let him know when I was ready to record again. My dad was a big supporter of this channel, and he would hate it if we put it on hold for him, so we are moving forward. With that being said, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and turn on that bell if you want to be notified when we post new content. We will be continuing with the metallic Dragonborn party with the silver Dragonborn. So far we have the bronze samurai we did a few weeks ago. There will be a link at the end of this video if you want to check that one out. The silver Dragonborn are from Fitzbin's Treasury of Dragons. They are humanoid, medium size with a walking speed of 30 feet. They have metallic ancestry, in this case silver, and this will determine the damage type of their racial abilities. For the silver Dragonborn, their damage type is cold. They get a breath weapon. When you take an attack action on your turn, you can replace one of your attacks with an exhalation of magical energy in a 15-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a dexterity saving throw. The DC equals 8 plus your constitution modifier plus your proficiency bonus. On a failed save, the creature takes 1d10 of cold damage, and on a successful one, it takes half as much damage. This damage increases by 1d10 when you reach 5th, 11th, and 17th levels. They get draconic resistance, giving them resistance to the same damage type of their metallic ancestry, which is cold. At 5th level, they get metallic breath weapon, and we will talk about that at 5th level. For languages, they get common and one other of their choice. We have mentioned it before that it's weird that the Dragonborn don't speak draconic, so we'll take it here. One night on his journey, our hero has a dream that has haunted him for many years. It had been his turn at the village watchtower one night. Nothing ever happened here at this country village, but it was part of his training, so he had to be there. Some of his fellow trainees approached him as he was starting his watch. They convinced him to skip his watch duties and go on a night hunt with them. The harvest had been small that year, and the village needed the help. It had been a few hours into the hunt when they heard the explosions. The next moment, the night sky turned red as the flames leapt into the sky. The blood drained from his face, and he realized it was coming from the direction of the village. When they returned, it was already too late. The bodies of silver and red Dragonborn lay all over the village. They had been at war with each other for centuries, but this was the first time they made it so far into silver Dragonborn territory. Fear filled the young Dragonborn as he raced through the fire to find his family. It didn't take him very long to find them. He found his father first. From the looks at the scene, his father had made a valiant effort to protect the village as many dead red Dragonborn lay around his father's body. He walks over to his father and kneels beside him to say a simple prayer of passing so his father's spirit can move on to the next life. As he stands to leave, he whispers, "Worry not, father. I will find mother and make the Reds pay for what they have done to us." The fear he had felt at the beginning turned into rage as the minutes ticked by while he was looking for his mother. When he met up with the other survivors, one of them said, "I saw the remaining invaders moving south with treasures and the captives they took." Our hero looked at the others that had returned from the hunt with him, and they all had the same thought. "Let's go," he yells, as the 10 of them grabbed whatever equipment they could find, and the hunting party set off to track down the invaders. It didn't take them very long to find their prey. The red Dragonborn had not been moving very quickly because they thought they had taken care of anyone that could follow them. They had set up camp only a few miles from the village. There were 7 red Dragonborn and a few injured and 6 captives. The silver Dragonborn hunting party didn't make a plan. They just rushed the campsite, swinging weapons at any red Dragonborn they could find. It wasn't a smart plan, but it did catch the red Dragonborn by surprise. The fighting was fierce and quick. After it was all over, the Reds had been defeated, and 7 from the hunting party had fallen, as well as a few of the captives that happened to be at the wrong place in the wrong time. As he searched the captives, he found his mother's body. She was still breathing, but had a mortal wound on her side. The tears started to flow as he falls to his knees beside his mother, taking her into his arms. Her shaky hand reaches up to his cheek. "My son, I knew you would find me. It is time for me to go, but remember this. Don't let this moment define you. Be a strong man your father and I know you to be. Everyone should be given a second chance, and this is yours. Go now and change the world." Her words trailed off as her hand fell from his face and her last breath leaves her lips. His body shakes with rage, and despair filled him as he holds his mother's body close. The next few days flew by in a haze. The remaining survivors had to take care of the bodies and give them proper burials to their beloved ones.
That will take us to his background. We're taking the Haunted One background for the obvious reason of him leaving his post and his village being attacked and his parents killed. He gets 2 skills from among Arcana, Investigation, Religion, and Survival. We're taking Investigation and Religion. He also gets 2 languages, and one must be an exotic language. And he takes Infernal. His enemies are devil worshippers, and he's learned their wicked speech. And for the other, he takes Elvish. The elves are his people's longtime friends, and he has learned their tongue. The main feature of this background is Heart of Darkness. Those who look into his eyes can see that he's faced unimaginable horrors and that he's no stranger to darkness. Though they might fear him, commoners will extend him every courtesy and do their utmost to help him. Unless he's shown himself to be a danger to them, they will even take up arms to fight alongside him should he find himself facing an enemy alone. Silver Dragonborn get the ability scores that are common with the newer races, that are 3 plus 1 ability boosts that you can put anywhere but no more than 2 on one ability. We put a 15 on Strength, making it 16 with the first racial bonus. He's very strong and well built. A 10 on Dex, he's not very agile and also be wearing heavy armor. A 13 on Constitution, making it 14 with his second racial bonus. Constitution is always needed when you're making a melee character. We put a 10 on Intelligence. He tends to act before he thinks. And an 8 on Wisdom. He doesn't have much street smarts, and that gets him into a lot of trouble. Lastly, we put a 15 on Charisma, making it 16 with the last racial bonus. He might get into trouble, but he can usually talk his way out of it.
Yeah.
After the loss of his parents and village, he was taken to the church of a nearby town. He felt great shame at failing in his duty to his lord and causing the death of his parents and the loss of his village. He prayed to Bahamut to grant him redemption. The priest told him that redemption can't be given, it must be earned. Only when he has recovered his honor and repaid the debt caused by his failure can he be redeemed. Until then he must be Ronin, a man without a home or a master. At first level and every level, he will be taking Paladin. First level Paladins get proficiency with all armor and shields, simple and martial weapons, and wisdom and charisma saves. He gets 2 skills from the Paladin list. First, he takes Insight to help with his negative wisdom score and to know when people are trying to deceive him. And for the second, he takes Persuasion. His first ability he gets is Divine Sense. As an action until the end of his next turn, he knows the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet of him, but it's not behind total cover. He knows the type of any being whose presence he senses, but not its identity. Within the same radius, he can also detect the presence of any place or objects that have been consecrated or desecrated. He can use this feature a number of times equal to 1 plus his charisma modifier. When he finishes a long rest, he gains all expended uses. The second ability he gets is Lay on Hands. He has a pool of healing power that replenishes when he takes a long rest. With that pool, he can restore a number of hit points equal to his paladin level times 5. As an action, he can touch a creature and draw power from the pool to restore a number of hit points to that creature up to the maximum amount remaining in his pool. Alternatively, he can spend 5 hit points from his pool of healing to cure the target of 1 disease or neutralize 1 poison affecting it. He can cure multiple diseases and neutralize multiple poisons with a single use of Lay on Hands, expending hit points separately for each one. This feature has no effect on undead or constructs. At second level of Paladin, he gets a fighting style and he takes Protection. When a creature he can see attacks a target other than him that is within 5 feet, he can use his reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. He must wield a shield to use this fighting style. He gets Divine Smite. When he hits a creature with a melee weapon attack, he can expend 1 spell slot to deal radiant damage to the target in addition to the weapon's damage. The extra damage is 2d8 for first level spell slot, plus 1d8 for each spell level higher than first, to a maximum of 5d8. The damage increases by 1d8 if the target is an undead or a fiend, to a maximum of 6d8. He gets his spell casting at this level. Paladins are prepared casters and can prepare a number of spells equal to their charisma modifier plus paladin level rounded down, so 4 to start. He wants to take spells that will protect his party members, and some that he can use to bring justice to evildoers. For his prepared spells, he takes Bless, Detect Magic, Shield of Faith, and Searing Smite. To use those spells, he gets 2 first-level spell slots. At 3rd level, paladins get divine health, making them immune to disease. They get their sacred oath, and he takes redemption. He is taking it for 2 reasons. One is to redeem himself after he left his post and his village was attacked. The second is to help those who have made mistakes like him to get the second chance they deserve, or to be put to death. They have tenets of redemption. These are tenets that hold a redemption paladin to a high standard of peace and justice. There are 4 of these, and they are more for roleplay purposes, so be sure to read them over. From redemption, they get oath spells that are prepared for free, but don't count against the number of spells they can prepare a day. They are Sanctuary and Sleep, and they get another 1st level spell slot. They also get a Channel Divinity. It has 2 options. First is Emissary of Peace. You can use your Channel Divinity to augment your presence with divine power. As a bonus action, you will grant yourself a +5 bonus to Charisma Persuasion checks for the next 10 minutes. And the second is Rebuke the Violent. You can use your Channel Divinity to rebuke those who use violence. Immediately after an attacker within 30 feet of you deals damage with an attack against a creature other than you, you can use your reaction to force the attacker to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the attacker takes radiant damage equal to the damage it just dealt. On a successful save, it takes half as much damage.
Mm-hmm. After training at the monastery for a few years and taking oaths of service, he sets out to restore his honor. He begins by hunting down bandits and raiders. But he doesn't simply seek to kill them. He intends to bring them redemption as well. He finds that many of those bandits are like him, folks that lost their homes in the war and turned to banditry to survive. Others are warriors that, like him, are disgraced by their failures and left without a lord. Though some might be slain, he finds many who want something better, so they join him in his quest. As his fame grows, bandits come to fear him, and merchants and local lords offer him lodging and support in exchange for his men protecting them. This is a step in the right direction, but he and his men are still Ronin and won't truly be accepted into the noble's service. At 4th level of Paladin, he gets an ability score booster of feat, and he's going to use it to boost his constitution to 16. This will help with hit points, which is a little low right now, and his breath weapon DC will increase as well. A case could be made to boost his charisma since it is his casting stat, or to boost his strength so he can do more damage. We went with Constitution since at this level it gives us a little more. He can prepare another 1st level spell. If your party needs help healing, take Cure Wounds. If not, take Command. At 5th level of Paladin, he gets extra attack, allowing him to attack twice instead of once when taking the attack action. He gets 2 more oath spells. They are prepared for free and don't count against the number of spells you can prepare a day. They are Calm Emotions and Hold Person. For spells, he gets another 1st level spell slot and 2 2nd level spell slots. You should drop Searing Smite and take Branding Smite. Also drop Detect Magic and take Lesser Restoration. I talked about it before when we went over the race, so he gets his Metallic Breath weapon now. At 5th level, you gain a 2nd breath weapon. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of your attacks with an exhalation of a 15-foot cone. The save DC for this breath is 8 plus your Constitution modifier plus your proficiency bonus. Whenever you use this trait, choose one of the following. Innervation Breath. Each creature in the cone must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or become incapacitated until the start of your next turn. Or Repulsion Breath. Each creature in the cone must succeed on a Strength saving throw or be pushed 20 feet away from you and be knocked prone. Once you use the Metallic Breath weapon, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. At 6th level of Paladin, he gets Aura of Protection. Whenever you or a friendly creature within 10 feet of you must make a saving throw, the creature gains a bonus to the saving throw equal to your Charisma modifier with a minimum of 1. You must be conscious to grant this bonus. He can also prepare another 2nd level spell, and he takes Aid. He is always trying to protect those he cares about. At 7th level of Paladin, from Oath of Redemption, he gets Aura of the Guardian. When a creature within 10 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to magically take that damage instead of that creature taking it. This feature doesn't transfer any other effects that might accompany that damage, and this damage can't be reduced in any way. He gets another 2nd level spell slot at this level as well. At 8th level of Paladin, he gets another ability booster of feat, and he's going to boost his Constitution to 18. At this level, he needs all the hit points he can get, and it will make his breath weapon DCs better. He can prepare another spell of 2nd level or lower, and there are a few options he could take. He could prepare Detect Magic again if his party really needs it, or Prayer of Healing for some out-of-combat healing, or Find Steed is also a great choice.
One night, 2 figures enter the encampment. The men on watch confront them and send a runner to summon our hero. The visitors are a gold dragonborn carrying a staff adorned with rings and ribbons, the tools of a mystic. The other is a copper dragonborn, a woman of great beauty. She is garbed as a warrior, but her equipment is the fanciful costume of a player in a kabuki drama, and paint gives her features an air of exaggerated anger. The two explain that they have come following omens in search of our hero. A great evil is brewing in the west, and many clans of the chromatic dragonborn have gone to support the evil. The golden mystic explains that he has been granted a prophecy of warriors who would come to oppose this evil, and ask our hero and his companions to join them in his quest. Our hero thinks that perhaps this is the path to redemption he has been seeking, so he and his men set off with these strangers to find honor either in victory or in death. At 9th level Paladin, he gets 2 oath spells prepared for free that don't count against his number of spells he can prepare a day. They are Counterspell and Hypnotic Pattern. These are 2 great spells to have. Counterspell is rare on a Paladin or a martial character, and Hypnotic Pattern can completely lock down a group of enemies.
Yeah.
And so you'll probably use them often. He also gets 2 3rd level spell slots and can now cast 3rd level spells. At 10th level Paladin, he gets Aura of Courage. You and friendly creatures within 10 feet of you can't be frightened while you're conscious. He can also prepare another spell of 3rd level or lower. 2 good choices are Crusader's Mantle or Elemental Weapon. Both are great to have if you and your party need to deal a lot more damage.
But they are both concentration, so remember that.
Yeah, one or the other.
Yeah, one or the other.
At 11th level of Paladin, he gets Improved Divine Smite. Whenever he hits a creature with a melee weapon, the creature takes an extra 1d8 of radiant damage. And for spells, he gets another 3rd level spell slot. At 12th level Paladin, he gets an ability booster feat, and he will boost his charisma to 18. This will help with his spell save DCs, and his healing spells will do a little more. Since he raised his charisma, he can now prepare 2 more spells of 3rd level or lower. 3 good choices are Blinding Smite, Dispel Magic, or Revivify.
Yeah.
At 13th level Paladin, he gets 2 more oath spells that are prepared for free and don't count against the number of spells he can prepare a day. They are Autolux Resilient Sphere and Stone Skin. Again, 2 spells that are pretty rare to find on a Paladin. He does get 1 4th level spell slot and can cast 4th level spells. Staggering Smite might be a good one to start preparing.
Yeah.
At 14th level Paladin, he gets the ability Cleansing Touch. He can use his action to end 1 spell on himself or on one willing creature that he touches. He can use this feature a number of times a day equal to his charisma modifier, again, minimum 1, and he regains expended uses when he finishes a long rest. And for spells, he gets another spell he can prepare a day, and if you haven't started preparing Staggering Smite, you can go ahead and do it now. At 15th level Paladin, from his Sacred Oath, he gets Protective Spirit. He regains hit points equal to 1d6 plus half his Paladin level if he ends in turn in combat with fewer than half of his hit points remaining, and isn't incapacitated. This is an amazing ability for this character. He wants to play the tank and will absorb as much damage as he can from his party members. For spells, he gets another 4th level spell slot.
After many years of successful missions, some bloodier than others, our hero and his companions have been recognized as some of the strongest among the forces of good. The war is not over by any means. The losses on both sides begin to mount as the years drag on. Other races like humans, dwarves, and elves join in as the battles become bigger and bloodier. He is respected by many in the eyes of his soldiers and of the people. His honor is restored, but he still feels the shame and thinks perhaps defeating his enemy is the only way to truly redeem himself. At 16th level of Paladin, he gets another ability booster feat, and he's going to use it to cap his constitution at 20. The more hit points he has, the better, plus it will help with his breath weapon DCs. He can also prepare another 4th level spell or lower, and he takes banishment. At 17th level of Paladin, he gets his last 2 oath spells, Hold Monster and Wall of Force. They are prepared for free and don't account against the number of spells he can prepare a day. For spells, he gets 1 4th level spell slot and 1 5th level spell slot. All Paladin 5th level spells are good to take, so take your pick. Destructive Wave and Holy Weapon are 2 great choices to start with. At 18th level of Paladin, his auras improve. The radius increases from 10 feet to 30 feet. He can prepare another spell of 5th level or lower, take one I mentioned last level that you didn't take already. At 19th level of Paladin, he gets his last ability booster feat. He really wants to take the tough feat here to get even more hit points, but he needs to protect his party members better, so he will give a +2 to his strength, making it 18. The faster he can kill the enemies, the safer his party will be. For spells, he gets another 5th level spell slot. And lastly, at 20th level of Paladin, From the sacred oath, he gains Emissary of Redemption. You become an Avatar of Peace, which gives you the following benefits. You have resistance to all damage dealt by other creatures, their attacks, spells, and other effects. And whenever a creature damages you, it takes radiant damage equal to the half amount of the damage dealt to you. This is the real reason why we wanted to go 20 levels of Redemption Paladin. This is an amazing ability for a tank. If you attack a creature, cast a spell on it, or deal damage to it by any means but this feature, neither benefit works against the creature until you finish a long rest.
The forces of Tiamat have won many battles, but the war is far from over. As long as our hero and his companions stand at the head of the good aligned forces, the war will never be over. Our hero will never make the same mistake of leaving his post before the battle is over, even if it costs him his own life. He has redeemed himself in the eyes of the people and to himself, and feels worthy to be called samurai again. This build makes a great tank. It has a ton of hit points and a great armor class, allowing it to absorb a lot of damage. His Aura of the Guardian helps with this as well, letting him shield his allies from damage, and he can deal a good amount of damage from Divine Smites and his breath weapons. He also has a good charisma, so can hold his own in roleplay situations and serve as an inspiring leader and commander. His Emissary of Redemption feature, combined with his good social skills, also makes him a great negotiator. He can endure attacks while showing his enemies mercy and persuading them to lay down their weapons and even join his cause. It also lets him engage the most powerful enemy in combat, while his aura protects him from that enemy's minions. If you have any questions, comments, or build requests, please leave them in the comments section below. Next week, we'll be continuing our dragon party with the Brass Dragonborn. So join us for that. And until next time, cheers!
Cheers!